Hi there, I'm Roman with Holistic Dog Training. I see a lot of posts of people where the dogs get turning aggressive, and I know it's frustrating, but I feel from what I observed a couple of months actually, where things actually escalate. I don't want to go too much in the energetic aspect of the situation, but there is a lot of energy shifting that makes us being more sensitive, and that also applies to the dogs. We take animals that are very in tune with nature, and nature changes, and so do dogs, and these changes do create stress to the dog. Now, these natural changes are also changes that we are not aware of. For example, energetic changes, magnetic field changes, weather changes, all these invisible things that are actually taking place around us and we are not aware of. Scientifically speaking, we have a shift of north poles right now that's about 300 feet a day, which is a lot. That creates lots of confusion for some animals who are very sensitive to magnetic fields. And then we have other stressors. For example, kids are at home from school and we have visitors and we get stressed because the house has to be cleaned. And we are stressed because this particular visitor is like, oh my God, he's again here for a visit. And all these things dogs pick up and they're very sensitive. So what I want to say with that is that your dog is not a perfect working machine. He's a natural being and has emotions, and they are affected by natural triggers. And so if you're not aware of the natural triggers, then suddenly you see your dog being aggressive and react towards you because you're stressed and you get upset and your dog feels neglected because you don't have time for him, and all of a sudden he thinks like, how dare you resisting, and why are you calling me off your bed, and why don't I get my food in time, and why do you grab my collar, and all these things that happen. And suddenly, because of that frustration, because the dog cannot change what happens around him, because he's basically enclosed, then all of a sudden you will have a reactivity, and usually against you, because you're the one who challenges your dog. Now that goes in combination with other things. For example, we haven't educated our dog in morals and ethics. What we do though is we have an obedient dog, but if the poop hits the fan and the dog doesn't need obedience, but he needs to make an emotional decision whether or not to do a certain action, then you call your dog's emotions and morals and ethics, which he hasn't placed yet. And that's the key, because the dog turns to you because he has no emotional resistance to do that, And so a very important factor of having a dog not to turn against you is you need to be aware how your body language and how your words and how your manners triggers your dog resistance. So for example, asking your dog, what did you do? The dog can perceive that as predatory intention. Because how dare you questioning your dog for doing what he did because he believes what he does is the right thing to do. Well, it doesn't fit your purpose. However, the dog feels like the right thing to do and you're just against him. Therefore, you must be aggressive. So the dog then has the only way to react to you is being resistant and being reactive to your reaction. Because what we usually do is we are not being proactive, we are reactive. So if my dog goes after the garbage bin, I yell at my dog, but we have naturally an opportunistic scavenging predator, which means the dog has the right to go after your garbage bin, unless you taught him morals and ethics in your family code of conduct that tells him we don't touch garbage bins because he's mine. Okay? Now, stress is another factor that can turn your dog into survival mode. Mean the dog doesn't feel safe in his house because there's stressors. And so therefore, he tries to protect himself, and naturally he becomes resource guarding. So resource guarding is not a bad behaved dog, it's actually a dog being scared of his resources. So that doesn't mean that you have to be reactive to him. However, you can solve the solution or solve your problem by being proactive. And if you see your dog being protective over things, you don't need to just take them away by force because you're supposed not to be reactive to you, but come in with exchange. Like, hey, I got a chicken. Would you like to drop your sock because do you like the chicken or do you like my sock? And your dog naturally will drop the sock and want the chicken, which you then release the pressure he has of you being reactive over your sock. Because if it was your sock, why did you leave it on the floor? Because dogs believe whatever is for free, it's on the floor, and therefore the sock was on the floor so he can take it, right? But you know, this is where it comes back to the morals and ethics, because you're supposed to teach the kids and yourself not to leave things on the floor, because what's on the floor is unclaimed, and what's unclaimed is your dog's thing, you know? So therefore we have the dog, our home, dog safe, meaning is we don't have any things around, we don't have things that dogs get into, we don't have things on the counter, okay? We don't grab the dogs on the collar, because dogs are sensitive around the neck, especially our breeds, who are protective breeds and guardian breeds and livestock guardian breeds. You just don't touch them on the neck, because neck is a predatory intention to grab your dog by the neck. So this is why your dog gets reactive, and this is why your dog turns to you. However, there are situations, for example, health situations, where the dog just wants to be left alone. And if you trigger your dog to do something when he really doesn't really want to do that, he has the option not to do it. Just because you told him to, he doesn't really have to do it, because he doesn't feel good about it. For example, dogs who are sensitive on grains, or dogs who are sensitive on carbs, or dogs who are sensitive and have allergies, and they really are reactive to that. So a dog who feels miserable in his body, he really doesn't want to do things for you. So the first thing you want to do is you check with a vet and make sure your dog doesn't have any physical or emotional problems, physical or medical problems, which can lead to aggression. So the first thing you suspect is not your dog being a jerk, but your dog have a medical emergency. So the first thing you want to do is make an appointment with your vet, clear your vet's medical bill, so your dog's medical bill, and then suspect other things to do. Okay? So thanks for watching. I try to keep it short. I have to get some breath. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment on the comments below. I know some of you don't agree with my approach. However, I do this for 10 years and I work with really tough guys. So at some point it must have worked in some way. And if it doesn't work for you, it's fine. Doesn't mean it works for everyone. But you know, I may have experience that you may feel helpful. So thanks for posting, thanks for your questions, and thanks for watching. Stay safe. And please do not challenge your dog. You're pulling the shorter one. And please always suspect your dog only wants to be perfect, and sometimes they just don't know what to do it right. So don't challenge your dog. Try to be smart, be emotionally intelligent, and try to avoid disputes with your dog. There is always a reason for your dog to doing something you don't want. You just have to find another way to do it. Okay? Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a great rest of your week. Bye.